Altcoins are sending a little bit of a message here. Inflation is dropping, stable currency dominance is dropping still, and Bitcoin dominance is stalling. Now, this might be a little signal of an altcoin bounce or a little altcoin season. So this video might be useful for you to wait for a confirmation before aping in. If you enjoy this content, leave a like, as always. It helps massively. And yeah, leave a comment what you think. Alt season or not. Now, the first bit of news to cover, obviously, CPI print, the macro green light, so to speak. It came in lower than expected. Markets rallied a little bit from that. Nothing crazy in crypto, but enough to kind of get us kind of noticing. And this kind of, print has been the lowest since February 2021. God, that's a long time ago. So very, very interesting. And risk on assets got a little bit of a boost from this. And it does echo the fact that things are changing, but obviously, yes, it is summer. Sometimes things do change in summer naturally, but it does remove the pressure from the Fed a little bit in terms of given that, quantitative tightening still happening. Oh, we need quantitative easing. Yeah, you could argue Donald Trump pressure, but there is a hint of rate cuts coming, regardless, in the summer. We know that. So yeah, next leg may well be loaded. And when we talk about the macro side of it, stocks have literally pulled back to where they originally were. A very, very quick recovery, so to speak. And I know a lot of people were worrying about certain things, and obviously the markets don't like uncertainty. But yeah, we're back, kind of. In terms of the Bitcoin world, we've obviously got this news that came out yesterday as well. 21 Capital, Jack Mallers with Tether are buying a lot of Bitcoin currently. And yeah, keep accumulating that Bitcoin because it's still happening. Now, let's talk about existing capital and liquidity. This is where we are. We are still probably going to go back down to those areas of 5%, and that would be good for risk on assets currently in the market. And that is going to give us a bit more of a push to the upside, hopefully. This is good. Bitcoin does often lead, and when dominance tends to stall a little bit, that's important. But what we're seeing right now is stable currencies are the dry powder. They're coming into the market because people are finding those like little bit, more reliable signals that, oh, this is looking a bit better. Things have eased off a little bit. So yeah, we're just waiting for them early signs of a bigger push. It is early, I know. And a lot of people do comment saying it isn't an alt season. But I think I've talked about it before saying we're not probably going to get a full-on mental craziness season just yet. But recoveries, bounces into resistance, yeah. If you buy the lows and you take profits at the highs, you're going to make some money somewhere. And without talking about stable currencies, we've got to talk about Bitcoin dominance. It's stalling a little bit. It's somewhat here. It's still, high, don't get me wrong. It's nothing crazy just yet, but we've got to look at these signals and kind of go with it. And this is the point of Bitcoin leading. This is where I believe that we're not going to go down to the 40% marks because I think Bitcoin will lead majority of this run. Altcoins will run with it, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're going to outperform massively to get to the point of getting stupid low dominances again, because I think the institutional-led rally is hugely important here. But all of this is a signal, all of this is a sign, it's good, because it's showing that existing liquidity is coming to the market. It's not all just going into Bitcoin neither, because that has dropped very, very briefly over the last 2 weeks. And we can see that with a lot of the charts. They have started to turn a little bit. Now, the reason why I talk about that is because I'm in a sol trade and that's doing very well. You can see we've changed character and we've kind of pushed up. We may well be going into these levels and we may well be pulling back from this low, obviously. There's other ones as well that look very similar. Chainlink as well. We're starting to curl up a little bit. Nothing crazy, but it's enough to get people to notice. And that's important. And when we talk about the likes of Ethereum, for example, it's had a very, very, very big bounce. And it's not amazing, don't get me wrong. There is some fib levels of interest there, obviously. But the reality is here, we've had so much down days, it's going to bounce. It's going to find something. And as you know, they aren't just bouncing, they're starting the trends now. So this is, that's important, right? And I think people forget that situation. They are starting to trend. And as I say, like a lot of these assets have changed. They've changed direction completely. And I still think people have that psychological, fatigue, so to speak, that they can't quite believe it. But yeah, when you start seeing things happen, you've got to follow it. Now, for me, the biggest chart and the most obvious chart we need to also keep an eye on is obviously the total 3/BTC, which would indicate the overall altcoin market running with Bitcoin or against Bitcoin, so to speak. We don't want it to go down completely. We want this to start trending up, so it'd be outperforming Bitcoin. The problem is it hasn't fully done it. This is going to show when capital really shifts from altcoins, or into altcoins, from Bitcoin. We've seen this before, and it usually ends up people FOMOing much higher when this is really squirting to the upside. Now, obviously, I've mentioned before, you got three pathways. You got stable currency dominance, which is the first one. Then you got Bitcoin dominance trending lower. And then you got this. This is the one where you need to really keep an eye on, because with this and in combination with the other slash BTC, you need this to start hurtling forward. And this is another one. This is like the 100 and, this is like the 125 minus the top 10 pretty much, right? So when we break up at this level here, this region, and start trending up, that is when you're probably going to notice all of your altcoins doing much better. Maybe not all of them. If you bought some duds, may not. But everything else will run against it, because that is going to showcase how that is, the BTC pair, so to speak. The problem is, it is early. And the signals are good. They're holding strong with the good news, with Bitcoin pumping up. They're holding strong, and it is a good signal. The problem is, for a lot of people, it's probably a bit early just yet if you are trying to play it safe. If you trade on the lower time frames, you may have got some great results so far. If you're interested in trading, link below. There's some free money there for you. You get 20% back on fees. You get paid to trade. It's amazing. So I've mentioned this before. I'm a momentum trader. I trade off momentum, I trade off confidence, and I don't like losing trades, put it that way. So I like to go for the obvious. With this, altcoins look a lot better because they are trending up finally. But even if this does go wrong, disclaimer, it might, you can trend back down, so to speak, right? If you're willing to go against the market. I'm still picking areas of pure obvious interest, right? Realistically. But I'm not chasing idiot moves. I'm not chasing the stupid gains, because ultimately I think with momentum of existing liquidity coming to the market, you're going to find it a bullish trend. Likewise, when it goes out, it's going to go bearish, right? So I'm scaling in on structure and not chasing pumps, right? If you are looking at this video now, I'd wait for a pullback. Personally, I would, because you can see how this has moved up high. A lot of assets have had a big move. Wait for something to come out to you. Wait for it to come, because at the end of the day, it's not going to change your life if it keeps running for, if it runs a little bit, then pulls back, because we're still in a period where it's probably very, very early. I've showcased it with a total 3/BTC chart, the others .d, whatever. It is so much, it's very, very early. There's so much more to run. They will be pullbacks. Just don't get caught out by it. So yeah, altcoins trending up a little bit, looking relatively strong. Hopefully it's a beginning. May well be some pullbacks. Watch this video. It'll help.